This new generator comes in at $389 to $489 and literally weighs just over 40 pounds. And with a super large muffler, this is actually supposed to be really quiet, so we'll see how well it does with our test later. And we're going to go over the features and specs first, then we'll go ahead and do a load test and check the sound and just kind of see if this is really a good generator for you. The PowerSmart 2500 generator will come in at 2500 starting watts, 1900 running watts, and provide 15.8 amps of power, and this generator is 39 pounds without fuel or oil. This has a very simplistic display with 3 indicator lights and 1 pair of outlets that provide 15.8 amps of power and a DC 12 volt outlet, which is kind of handy for some items. And it does have USB-C with 1 amp or 2.1 amps. It does have an eco mode switch along with a reset button, which if it happens to overload, you can reset it while the generator is running. This generator can also be paralleled with another one, and when it comes to the fuel selector switch, this is just simply an on-off with no automatic choke, but sometimes there is something to be said about having a manual choke where you can control it yourself. I do like how the air intake is at the front of the inverter board. This will not only keep it cooler, but also down low. Sometimes where some intakes are, this will ingest dust and debris a lot easier. This generator, you can also remove both panels, which makes it easier to replace a pull cord, which it does have a protective bezel to help prolong the cord life. On the rear, you will have a removable panel, and you will see this extra foam. This helps dampen a little bit of the engine noise that comes from the back of this, which is kind of nice. On the other side, you do have an access panel. This is so you can do your oil changes, which does have a little oil runway to help drain it, and it does have a manual vent on the top where the gas tank is. And when it comes to servicing the spark plug, they do have a spark plug access panel, but I wish the access hatch was just a little bit bigger. This would make it easier, at least for my hand, to get in there, but overall it's not bad. I did add an hour meter to this, and when you look at the engine, this is a Yamaha clone engine 79cc, which you don't have to have any tools to remove the airbox cap, which is kind of nice. And you want to make sure that your air filter is properly oiled. This one does look a little bit dry. A lot of manufacturers are shipping these dry, and it just needs a slight coating on the outside. That's really about it. Now, when it comes to this engine, it is encased in a plastic casing. This will help dampen the noise, but it also kind of helps direct the airflow. As you go to the front of the engine, the air will come in through the front, kind of work its way around the engine through this encasing, and then come out the back, which this actually helps direct the air over the engine, which probably makes it cooler. I always thought these casings, though, might actually kind of keep the heat in, but maybe it works the other way. When it comes to installing these hour meters, these are super simple. They come in a 2-pack and they're only like $15. They come with 1 signal wire, which this just simply slides into the back. You just kind of press it down in and cut off the excess, which they give you a ton of wire. I'm just using a drill bit right here just to kind of press it all the way in, and this is the bit I'll use later to end up drilling a hole in it. But once you're done, this is pretty much what it looks like. You snip off the end, and now we just have to drill a hole. I'm going to put mine right here, but make sure nothing is underneath where you're going to drill, or you could drill into the gas tank. Now again, always double check before you drill, but there is a nice open spot there. And then you just feed the wire, go ahead and pull it up on through. Now this will come with 2 screws that simply just kind of go right into the casing. You don't need to drill a hole if you don't want to, they'll just go right in. And then all you have to do is take this wire and wrap it around. I put it down here because it's just a signal wire and not a RPM gauge, so it just needs to detect a signal, and that is it. And then I'll have this extra wire that kind of hangs out, but I'll probably just tack this up against the casing or something. Now, I say this all the time that you should use a fuel conditioner or some kind of stabilizer. It even says on some generators to use it, and if you don't, it can even void your warranty. Now, if you have access to ethanol-free gas, that's even better, but not everyone does. Now, this generator will have a 1.05 gallon tank, which should give you about 11 hours at a quarter load. And if you're looking for a good gas can that are made in the USA, these ones from SureCan are great. I still like using it, so I'll leave a link below. And after you add fuel and oil, this will come out to just over 41.5 pounds. Now this generator is super easy to start. Just turn it to the on position, pull the choke, and make sure the eco mode is off. I like to pull the starter cord about 3 times to help get some fuel down into the carburetor. And then I usually just do 1 big pull and it'll fire right up. Okay, so up and running. Now this is with eco off, so it is going to be at max RPM. And doesn't sound bad. We're going to go ahead and turn that max RPM off and put it in eco mode. And this will quiet it down quite a bit. We'll also take a look at our RPM as well, and just to kind of see what it looks like. Now you may notice how the engine kind of goes up and down a little bit. That's really because they set these up pretty lean, but let's take a look at our low RPM. And this is with eco mode on, so just over 3,000 RPM. And now with eco mode off, we'll take a look at max RPM. And right at 4850, which this generator is rated to run at 4850 max. And again, when I meant this was lean with the carburetor, as soon as you add a load, this should smooth it right out. Most of these will be like this. But now you can see once you add a load, which if you're running the generator, most times you're going to have something on it, it'll smooth right out. And if you've seen my videos before, I've done a lot of sound checks right here at this spot, so we'll see what it looks like. And now with no load, this is as quiet as it's going to get, and it is going to be on concrete, so that always reflects sound, but looking right about 56.5, maybe 57. And we'll also take a look at our voltage too. So it starts at 123.69, and we'll see how much voltage drop it gets when we put a couple loads on it. Now I did add an extension cord for our test because most times you're going to use an extension cord with a generator. So we'll take a look at our voltage difference. This will add a little bit more resistance and should at least kind of make it more real world. But if we take a look at our resting voltage, really hasn't changed. It went from 0.69 to 0.68, so honestly it's really the same, but we'll go ahead and add a load. Now quarter load sound check would be done at 475 watts. 484 is going to be very close, so we'll see what it looks like. Okay, now again on concrete, this is going to be the loudest. But overall, that's what we're looking for, is about 60 to 61. And so far this isn't bad, even the tone isn't bad. And just to show you what the RPM looks like at a quarter load, about 3450. Okay, everybody always asks how does it compare to a Honda, so we'll do a quick sound check. Now this is with no load. And again, you are spending $1,200 plus tax on this. Okay, so same test. 484 watts, we'll see what it comes out to. And we were right about 60, 61. And again, the Honda is always going to be quieter. So we'll do a couple different sound checks now at half load and also a full load. But we're going to be again at 23 feet. But this time we're going to add something that absorbs the sound. So when you add grass and rocks or something else besides concrete, it's going to make it a lot quieter. We were at 60 and now we're down to 55. So now we're just over a 50% load. We'll see what it sounds like. And remember, we were at 60 over on the concrete on a quarter load. Okay, so now we're close to a full load, and I'll give you an idea of the voltage drop here. Now this is a very light duty generator, so you shouldn't be running heavy loads like air compressors and such, but the voltage so far is good, and it is just a hair dryer, but again, it's a light duty generator. That's what you want to use it for, but we'll see what it sounds like. Now if this was on the concrete, this would probably be about 72 decibels, give or take. Now people are always interested in the sine wave to see if it's dirty on these cheaper generators, so just to kind of give you an idea, again, this is light duty stuff, so we'll turn on a load. You can see this sine wave is perfectly clean. It's pure sine wave, so no problem so far with just a little bit of a load. You can see a little bit of deviation there, but that's more from probably the hair dryer, but these all look symmetrical and look fine. Really no distortion yet. And overall that looks good, just that little bit right there, which again, that's probably the hair dryer and not the generator. So we'll add a little bit more load and see what it does. Okay, so that's pretty much a full 1650 watt load, really no change. Again, this is light duty stuff, so overall it looks clean to me. Now, overall, I think if you're looking for a light-duty generator, I can't really find a lot wrong with this. It's lightweight, it's a good buy at the price, especially if you can get it at that $389 mark. That's not a bad price for something that's easy to move around. It's lightweight, and if you don't abuse it, just like anything, it should last actually a really long time. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope to see you in the next video.